Hi, I'm Ellie from crystallinks.com. Today is Wednesday, May 26th, 2021. And if the energies are stirring you today, the reason is we are going through and I'm going to read it exactly, a super flower blood moon total lunar eclipse 5 Sagittarius, which is also fire. So I said, okay, let me just put on some of my lunar earrings. How this affects you and your behavior really depends on what your astrological chart is. So some people are going to be energized by it, other people just another day. Some people will meditate in this energy, other people will say no. The energy of fire has sparked volcanoes, and of course there's wildfires, and we can go into all kinds of climate things, but basically red and blood and all of that energy, okay, take us to the emotions that are permeating the grid right now as COVID is starting to wane and people are starting to come out and talk about what's happened to them emotionally since they've been, sequestered, shall we say, due to COVID. People have gone out different times, different places. It's been quite the awful 14 months for most. But let's talk about this moon. This moon is a moon of emotions, okay? It's about people and this anxiety thing, people who deal with anxiety and mental illnesses. Something about COVID has exacerbated their anxiety levels. Blood pressure is up, violence is up. There's violence all across the planet, not just where there's war, but even homegrown. People are protesting. They're still shooting people for no reason at all. I live in New York, and in New York, what's happening is people just walk down the street, see someone, let's say, of the Asian persuasion, and they'll just punch them. There's hate crimes against people. There's something very explosive. There's also the anxiety. If you are experiencing an increase in anxiety or unexplained anxiety, just know that there are people out there who are experiencing the same thing. I have clients from across the world, and the first thing I ask them, of course, is health and COVID, but whether they've had COVID or not, they're still feeling this anxiety. Part of it is biochemical, of course, but then a lot of it is what's going to happen in the world. How are we ever going to get out of the situations and messes that have been created? These could be things that have to do with earth changes. They could be something political. It could be anything, but anxiety is really shaping what's going on in the world. And along with that is, why doesn't anything make sense anymore? I'm getting panic and anxiety simply because I can't figure things out. Why is life evolving the way it is? There's a lot of depression now. If you've had depression in the past, it's going to be more so. The same. Depression is an umbrella, because I'm a therapist too, but it's an umbrella, and under that you get your anxiety disorders, fears come to light, phobias. All of that creates, that's the emotional body, all of that creates things in the physical body, okay? The physical body is just a reflection of what's going on in your emotions. Everywhere, people are talking about mental illness. On the news, celebrities from all around the world are coming forward and they're telling their stories. People want to tell their stories for the obvious reason, because they're hoping that their stories will help others who are also suffering from depression to come forward. I've been blogging for years about mental illness, and of course, one of the ways to deal with mental illness is substance abuse. There are those who recognize there are problems, even going back to childhood. There are others who say no, but all you really need to do if you're feeling these things is just look at your genetic patterning. If you know it, if you're adopted, you may not know it, but look at your genetic patterning. Parents and grandparents, just that alone will allow you to understand what is going on with you right now, plus everything else outside of your personal self. Childhood issues. Childhood issues are really, really something that people are dealing with now as never before. Everybody, see, the way it works is whatever happens to you, I call childhood the first 20 years, whatever happens to you in that window, be it something genetic or something that events that happen in your life that are detrimental, as people get older, they should either address these things or maybe if they're lucky just say, well, it doesn't really matter, it's not affecting me. But they keep going back. There is this need to come full circle now and just say, what's going on here? What, and then you stop and you realize that something happened at, say, age 5 or 6, and then again, and all the abuses that children go through that you think, when you become an adult, you can go to therapy and all of that. The energies of these powerful moons and everything that's shaking up the nature of this reality are really bringing everything to the fore. Don't run away from them. Talk it out with whoever. If you need medication, don't run away from that. The Band-Aids, I call them the Band-Aids, are of course all the things you do to balance the chemistry in your brain, like yoga, Pilates, anything that just balances that chemistry. That's what people try to do. But understand that it's temporary. Some of us are meant to just go through life and we do a regular amount of exercise and whatever. But other people really need to quiet the mind and clear the chatter because it's going to get worse. I don't know what else to tell you other than we live in a simulation, which I'm noted to say over and over again. But when you understand that this simulation, how it works, when you understand that, then you can start to put some of the pieces of the puzzle together. Right now, and probably for years and decades before this, people have been into heal yourself by healing others. So metaphysics went from, just the paranormal and learning about things of that kind into healing energy, no matter how you want to do it. But some people insist that the healing and energy things that they involve with, modalities they're called, help them, cure them. No, it's just a Band-Aid. Everything is just a Band-Aid. And now because we're in what I call end times and you need only turn around and look at the insanity in the world and the planet itself that looks like it's going a little crazy with a lot of volcanoes now. Earthquakes are a given. We're coming into hurricane season on the East Coast and the Gulf area, and then we have the wildfires. I mean, everything is heating up and heating up and heating up. And it does affect who you are and why you're here. Easiest way is to just talk to someone professional and talk it out, whatever it is in your childhood that you cannot let go of. And there are some awful things that have happened to people, You just say it out. Now, can you let that go? First, you got to see it. Then you try some of the Band-Aids. And in terms of letting it go, reality is a simulation of programmed events. Okay, everything is programmed. Everything you do, there is no free will. Got to get that right, because if there was free will, why would the world be the way it is today? Why would people be so abusive to each other and not caring? So, okay, that's a topic for another day. But the bottom line is, when you're programming for a certain behavior pattern, and it usually has to do with addictions and mental illness, because they go together, when that ends, if that ends in your lifetime, then you're free of it. And then you can just think, well, now what? And the now what will definitely take you into a journey where you're not going to get into the hokey metaphysical, tonight's a full moon, or it happened already, but this is the day, it's the 26th, this is the day of it. You're not going to get into those, I'm going to sit here and meditate and my whole life is going to get better. You're going to look for ways, we exist in physical reality, that's our platform. You're going to look for ways to better your life in that regard. It's never easy. You can follow certain things metaphysically, you can follow them energetically, you can do whatever you want, really, when it comes down to it. When I say there's no free will, I don't want to take away the hope factor, because we all feel tomorrow will be a better day. We were raised terribly, not me, but people were raised terribly, and now their children are going to do better. Their children are going to have a better life because of what they've learned. It's all in your programming. You really, really just got to sit back, let it all unfold. I'm sorry, but that's just the way the simulation works. Anyway, on this moon, you may feel energized, you may feel overly emotional. Be careful what you say and do. You don't want to overdo and say the wrong thing to somebody. We got Mercury retrograde coming in a few days too, so be careful about decisions, okay? And to be continued. Thank you for watching.